I booked a luxury cruise for my kids as a surprise days before departure. My stepmother shockingly gave the spots to my sister's kids instead. What I did next left everyone stunned. I always believed family was supposed to be your sanctuary, your rock. But what happens when the people you're supposed to trust the most become your greatest tormentors? What happens when you finally realize that for some, family is just a code word for easy target? It was 6:47 p.m. I was drying my hands, glancing at the clock, dreading the inevitable. Any minute, my father and stepmother would waltz in, uninvited, as always. From the other room, I could hear my kids, Liza and Max, their laughter echoing, little arguments flaring, creating their own vibrant, messy world. They were loud. Unfiltered. So incredibly alive. And that, right there, was the problem. That's exactly why my stepmother despised them. They are out of control. You've spoiled them rotten. Her venomous words still clotted my brain, even though our last argument had been days ago. Do you even discipline them, or do you just let them run wild? I'd clenched my jaw, bit my tongue. There was no point. She'd already decided her truth, and nothing I said would change it. Just days before, Liza had bounced on her heels, her eyes wide with excitement. Mom, are we really going on the cruise? Grandma said it's going to be amazing. I smiled, tucking a stray curl behind her ear. Of course, sweetheart. You and Max are going to have the best time with Grandpa and Grandma. Just a few more days, and you'll be on that big ship, eating ice cream every single day. This wasn't just any trip. This cruise was supposed to be magical, a special vacation for my kids and their grandparents. Something carefree, exciting, a chance for new experiences, and, selfishly, a much-needed break for me. I'd planned every detail. Paid for everything. Made sure my parents had the best accommodations. They didn't have to lift a single finger, all they had to do was enjoy time with my children. Then, the front door swung open. No knock. Never a knock. Hello, darling. My stepmother's voice, saccharine and insincere, cut through the house. My father, silent as ever, trailed behind her. He never interfered. Never stopped her. I turned, forcing a polite smile. Not today, I told myself. Don't start anything today. Good timing, I said, trying to sound breezy. I was just about to finalize the cruise details. Her smile was slow. Calculated. The kind that made my stomach knot. Oh, about that, she began, casually taking off her coat and draping it over my chair. We had to make a little change. I froze. My fingers dug into the kitchen counter. What change? She sat down, crossing her legs with an elegance that suggested we were discussing trivial dinner plans, not something I had poured months of effort and savings into. We decided, she purred, that your sister's kids would benefit from this trip more. Silence. My mind went blank. The words, they just didn't register. Excuse me? She sighed, as if I was the unreasonable one. Well, after our little disagreement the other day, I realized that your kids really don't deserve this trip. They're too undisciplined, too much work. And honestly, her eyes gleamed with malice, I thought it would be a good lesson for you. You need to learn how to raise them properly. A flashback hit me, sharp and stinging. 3 nights ago, at my father's house. Max, Liza, sit down properly. My stepmother's voice, a harsh whip, snapped across the dining room as she scowled at my son for simply reaching for the bread basket. They're just excited, I'd said, trying to keep the peace. Excited? They're uncontrollable. Look at them. She snapped, her perfectly manicured fingers tightening around her wineglass. You've raised them like wild animals. No respect, no discipline. My voice had dropped, dangerously low. Excuse me? You heard me. She'd set her glass down with a sharp clink. You let them do whatever they want. They need structure, rules. Your sister's kids, now they are well-behaved, polite. They know how to listen. Yeah, because they're terrified of their mother, I'd muttered under my breath. Her eyes flashed. I don't expect you to understand, but I won't sit here and pretend your parenting isn't a disaster. I'd forced myself to breathe, to hold my temper. My father, as always, just stared at his plate. Never took sides. Never my side. And now, here we were. She'd been waiting for this. The perfect, cruel lesson. A sharp, cold rage bloomed in my chest. You replaced my children? My voice was eerily calm, a whisper of ice. She waved a dismissive hand. Oh, don't be dramatic. They'll get another chance. But your sister's kids, they've had a rough year, and well, they're easier to handle. It's for the best. My father shifted, uncomfortable, but said nothing. Just like always. Something inside me snapped. But I didn't scream. I didn't argue. Instead, I calmly reached for my phone, my fingers steady as steel. Oh, I said, my voice light, that won't be a problem at all. With a few taps, a few swipes, I canceled everything. Every ticket. Every suite. Every excursion. Gone, her calculated smile faltered. What? What are you doing? I slipped my phone back into my pocket, met her eyes. Problem solved. Silence. A thick, suffocating silence stretched across the room, taut like a drawn bowstring, waiting to snap. My stepmother stared at me, blinking, as if her brain was short-circuiting. My father cleared his throat, his discomfort finally breaking through his usual silence. You canceled the trip? She asked, her voice sharp with disbelief. I met her gaze, even. That's right. But that's ridiculous. She gave a forced, brittle laugh, as if I just made a tasteless joke. The cruise is tomorrow. Do you know how much trouble it was to get everything arranged? What will we tell your sister's kids? I folded my arms. Tell them exactly what you told me. Plans changed. Her mouth opened, then closed. My father sighed heavily. Come on, honey, be reasonable. The trip is already paid for. No, Dad. My voice was ice. I paid for it. And if my kids aren't going, then no one is. A flicker of realization finally crossed his face. You mean, you canceled everything? The rooms, the tickets, every last detail? I confirmed. The color drained from my stepmother's face. You're being childish. Am I? I cocked my head. Because I seem to remember someone else changing plans without asking. You decided my kids didn't deserve to go. Now, no one is going. My stepmother shot up from her chair, her expression darkening with barely restrained rage. You had no right. No. I cut in, my voice rising. You had no right to make that decision. To treat my children like they're less than your precious, golden grandchildren. You thought you could teach me a lesson? Well, here's one for you. You don't get to make choices about my generosity. Her breathing was heavy, her nostrils flaring. She turned to my father, waiting for him to jump in, to take her side, like he always did. But for the first time in years, he hesitated. His brows furrowed as he looked at me, something dawning on him, something he should have realized a long, long time ago. You canceled everything? He repeated, this time softer. I nodded. And you're really okay with losing all that money? I let out a short, cold laugh. Oh, don't worry. I'm getting a refund. My stepmother's eyes widened. What? I reached for my phone again, turning the screen towards them. An email confirmation. Full refund. The travel insurance covered cancellations for any reason. And since I booked through my corporate account, I pulled some strings. Every cent is coming back to me. For a moment, the room was dead quiet. Then, my stepmother's face twisted with pure fury. You? Me? I echoed, shoving my phone back into my pocket. I just undid all your work in 2 minutes. Hope it was worth it. You are so ungrateful, my stepmother hissed, her words snapping me back to the present. I exhaled slowly, a calm, chilling sound. Ungrateful for what? For being told my children weren't good enough? For being treated like a second-class citizen in my own family? She marched toward me, jabbing a perfectly manicured finger into my chest. I have done nothing but try to help you. I let out a cold, hollow laugh. Help me? I took a step closer, my voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. Let's go over what help looks like to you. I started counting on my fingers. You took money from me for family emergencies, while my own kids went without things they needed. 1 finger, you've called me selfish every time I dared to do something for myself. 2 fingers, you've never once stood up for my children when they were being compared to your better-behaved grandkids. 3 fingers, her lips pressed into a thin, angry line. And now, you went behind my back and removed my kids from a trip that I planned, paid for, and organized, without even telling me. 4 fingers, I dropped my hand, took a deliberate step back. That's not help. That's control. And you don't have that over me anymore. My father stood abruptly, finally breaking his silence. Honey, let's just calm down. No. I said sharply. I'm done being calm. I am done playing nice. I grabbed my purse, turned toward the door. Where are you going? My father asked, his voice laced with confusion. Home, I said. Because unlike some people, I actually want to spend time with my kids. I walked out, slamming the door behind me. And for the first time in my entire life, I didn't feel a single pang of guilt for leaving them behind. The moment I stepped out of my father's house, my phone exploded with messages. I expected it. My stepmother wasn't the type to take humiliation quietly. As I walked to my car, I unlocked my phone, scrolling through the furious notifications. 3 missed calls from Dad. 5 from my stepmother. Then the text started, "You are being ridiculous. Call me back now so we can fix this mess. You will apologize for your behavior. I don't care how angry you are, you will not ruin this trip for your father." And from Dad, "Sweetheart, please call me. We need to talk." I snorted. Now he wanted to talk. I reached my car, slid into the driver's seat, and locked the doors. My hands were still shaking, not from fear, but from the sheer, exhilarating adrenaline of finally standing up to them. I placed my hands on the steering wheel, taking a deep, fortifying breath. Just as I was about to put my phone down, another notification popped up, "Incoming call, my sister." Oh, here we go, I exhaled sharply, and hit decline. 15 minutes later, Emily was at my house. I'd barely stepped inside when I heard the knock. Not a polite rap. A furious, impatient fist against the wood. I closed my eyes, already regretting answering, but I knew if I didn't, she'd just keep banging until my neighbors called the cops. With a sigh, I swung the door open. There she was. Emily. My perfect, flawless, always right older sister. Her blonde hair pulled into a sleek, severe bun. Her makeup, flawless even at this late hour. She was wearing one of her designer coats, the kind that screamed money and "I'm better than you." "Are you serious?" she snapped before I could even say hello. "Nice to see you too, Emily," I said dryly, crossing my arms. She shoved past me, her heels clicking like angry punctuation marks against the hardwood, storming into my living room. "Why the hell would you do that?" she demanded, spinning to face me. "Do what?" I played dumb, relishing the moment. Her eyes flashed. "Cancel the trip." I leaned against the door frame. "Oh, you mean the trip I paid for? That one?" "Oh, don't start with that," she groaned. "Mom said you overreacted. You know how she is. She didn't mean anything by it." I laughed. A sharp, humorless sound. Emily's lips pressed into a thin line. "What's so funny? You standing there, acting like this is just some tiny misunderstanding. Like I should just accept it and move on." "Because you should," she huffed. "It's just a vacation, for God's sake. You made it a bigger deal than it needed to be. Asterisk right. Just a vacation. Just my kids. Just another way for her to remind me that I'll never be good enough. Emily rolled her eyes. Here we go. The victim's speech. And there it was. The condescension. The dismissal. The same old song and dance she'd pulled our entire lives. You always do this, she continued, throwing her hands in the air. You make yourself the victim in every situation, like the whole world is against you. I felt the years of simmering resentment bubbling up, threatening to erupt. I didn't make myself the victim, Emily, I said, my voice low and steady. Mom did that for me. When she decided my kids weren't worthy of a trip that I paid for. She never said they weren't worthy. Emily retorted, but she hesitated, just for a second. She called them undisciplined, out of control, too much work. Emily finally muttered, almost to herself, she didn't mean it that way. Of course she did, I said flatly. And you know it. She exhaled through her nose, clearly trying to rein in her own anger. Look, just fix it. Rebook the trip. Let the kids go. Don't let this turn into some big family war. Too late, I said simply. Emily's jaw clenched. You know what? Forget it, she snapped, turning toward the door. I should have known you wouldn't be reasonable. You never are. I let her reach for the doorknob before I spoke. Oh, by the way, Em. She turned, glaring. What? I smiled. A cold, knowing smile. Since you're here, you can let Mom know she'll be getting the bill for the non-refundable deposits. For the first time, real panic crossed her face. Wait, what? What deposits? Oh, you didn't think everything was refundable, did you? I tilted my head. The excursions. The VIP dinner. The upgraded suites. Those were special requests I added just for them. And those? They're non-refundable. Her mouth opened, then closed. How much? She asked, suddenly cautious, her voice small. I grinned. $12,000. Emily gasped. You're lying. You really want to test that theory? I pulled up the confirmation emails on my phone, showed her the balance. Her hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God. Mom is going to lose it. Oh, I know, I said, savoring every single second of this. Emily turned toward the door, fumbling for her phone, already typing frantically. Wait until she hears about this, she muttered. Oh, tell her one more thing, I added sweetly. Emily sighed. What now? I smiled. Next time she wants a free vacation, she can book it herself. And with that, I shut the door in her face. That night, as I tucked my kids into bed, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Not regret. Not guilt. It was relief. Pure, unadulterated relief. For the very first time, I had set a boundary. A real, unshakable, and yes, expensive boundary. And something deep inside me told me this was just the beginning. I woke up to a nightmare of notifications. 23 missed calls. 15 from my stepmother, 5 from my father, 3 from my sister. I let out a slow breath, already knowing the storm wasn't just waiting, it was raging. The moment I unlocked my phone, the messages flooded in. My stepmother, I hope you're happy. Your father is heartbroken. I don't know how you can live with yourself after what you did. Another, your sister's kids were excited. Imagine how they feel now. You don't just hurt me, you hurt innocent children. Do you even care? Then, I hope you're ready to explain this to Dad when he calls. I told him everything. My sister, Emily, Mom is livid. She's talking about taking legal action. Are you out of your mind? And another, just fix it. It's not too late. Then, from Dad, sweetheart, please call me. We need to talk. I rubbed my temples, already exhausted, and it wasn't even 7 a.m. yet. Just as I was about to put the phone down, incoming call, Dad. I hesitated, then sighed, and answered. Hi, Dad. Sweetheart, his voice was tired, gravelly, like he'd aged overnight. Can we talk? We are talking. A long pause. Look, I know you're upset, but was canceling the entire trip really necessary? I closed my eyes briefly, pinching the bridge of my nose. Dad, she removed my kids from a trip I paid for, without even telling me. What exactly did you think was going to happen? He sighed again. I just think, maybe you overreacted. Overreacted? I repeated slowly, my tone dangerously calm, each word a chip of ice. Dad, if someone had done that to Emily's kids, would you be saying that? Another pause. That's not the point. It's exactly the point. My voice sharpened, a sudden steel edge. You've spent years letting her walk all over me. You always say you don't want to get involved, but what that really means is you don't want to stand up to her. It's not that simple, he muttered, weak and defeated. It is. You just don't want to deal with the fallout. Silence. For the first time, I heard him exhale shakily, like the entire weight of this toxic family was finally settling on his shoulders. Your stepmother, she just wanted to do what was best for the family. I laughed, a short, bitter sound. No, Dad. She wanted to do what was best for her version of the family. A version where I'm just the person who pays for things, but never gets a say. He didn't respond. So, let me make this easy for you, I said, my voice turning ice cold, cutting through the silence. I'm done. I'm done paying for things. I'm done being the family's problem solver. If she wants a vacation, she can book one. If Emily's kids need a trip, she can pay for it. Sweetheart, no. He tried to interject, but I cut him off, feeling a sharp sense of finality settle in my chest. This was my last act of generosity, Dad. And you let her throw it away. Another long silence. Then, quietly, for the first time in years, my father said something that actually sounded real. I don't know how to fix this. I closed my eyes. You don't, I said softly, because you're 20 years too late. And then, I hung up. The next few hours were blissfully quiet. No calls, no messages. I had a late breakfast with my kids, took them to the park, and for a short while, ignored the outside world. But by mid-afternoon, I knew it was only a matter of time before she showed up. And sure enough, at exactly 3:14 p.m., my doorbell rang. I didn't move. Then it rang again, longer this time. Then knocking, loud, impatient, furious knocking. I sighed, finally getting up. Might as well get this over with. I opened the door, and there she was. My stepmother. Her perfectly blow-dried hair was a little less perfect, her designer blouse slightly wrinkled, but her eyes, oh, they were filled with pure, unadulterated fury. We need to talk. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. I really don't think we do. She pushed past me, inviting herself in, just like she always did. I let her, because honestly, this was about to be fun. She spun to face me, her hands on her hips. What the hell is wrong with you? I smirked. Be more specific. You ruined this trip. Do you have any idea what you've done? Oh, I have a pretty good idea, I replied, my voice steady. Your sister is panicking, the kids are devastated, your father is heartbroken, and you? You're just sitting here acting like a spoiled brat. I tilted my head, pretending to think. That sounds a lot like your problem, not mine. Her face twisted with uncontrollable rage. You're unbelievable. I always knew you were selfish, but this is a new level. I sighed dramatically. And yet, somehow, I'll find a way to live with myself. She stepped closer, lowering her voice, a predatory glint in her eyes. You need to fix this. I smiled slowly. Coldly. No. Her nostrils flared. You don't get to say no. Oh, but I do, I shrugged. And I just did. She sputtered, her face turning an alarming shade of red. You can't just. I can do whatever I want. And I took a slow step forward, watching her actually step back for the first time ever. You just learned what happens when you push someone too far. Her breathing was heavy, her hands shaking at her sides. You think you won, she hissed. This isn't over. I laughed. Oh, it is. It was over the moment you decided my kids weren't good enough for you. Her jaw tightened, but she said nothing. So I smiled and opened the door. Bye, Mom. Her eyes flashed. She hated when I called her that in this tone, dripping with sarcasm, stripping the word of any warmth or meaning. She stormed out. And this time, I locked the door behind her. That night, as I tucked my kids into bed, Liza looked up at me, a tiny frown etching her forehead. Mommy, she whispered, did we do something bad? Is that why we're not going on the trip? My chest tightened painfully. I brushed her hair back gently. No, baby, I said softly, my voice thick with emotion. You didn't do anything wrong. Not ever. She looked at me for a long moment, her innocent eyes searching mine, then she nodded, rolled over, and hugged her stuffed bear close. As I stood there, watching my children sleep, I felt something shift deep inside me. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about protecting them. And if that meant burning every last bridge to keep them safe from this toxic family, then so be it. The silence after my stepmother left felt different this time. It wasn't heavy with guilt. It wasn't suffocating with regret. It was peaceful. For the first time in my life, I had said no, and I truly meant it. I sat in my living room, staring at my phone, bracing myself for the next round of attacks. But something told me I wouldn't have to wait long. Sure enough, not even an hour later, my phone buzzed. Incoming call, Dad, I exhaled slowly, debating whether to let it go to voicemail. Then, almost immediately, another notification popped up, incoming call, Stepmother, then another, incoming call, Emily. I rolled my eyes. They were desperate now. And desperate people? They made mistakes. I let them all go to voicemail. But Emily wasn't one to give up easily. Within seconds, my phone vibrated again. Asterisk new message, Emily. Pick up the phone. Mom is losing it. Dad's freaking out. You need to undo this now, asterisk another, asterisk Emily. She's talking about getting lawyers involved. Are you out of your mind? Asterisk I smirked. Oh, this just kept getting better. I tapped my fingers against my knee, a plan forming. They wanted to play dirty? Fine. I'd show them just how dirty I could get. I opened my email, scrolling until I found exactly what I was looking for, a contract. A fully executed contract. I clicked on it, letting the text sink in, a slow smile spreading across my face. Oh, they were going to hate this. Flashback, 2 months ago. That's a lot of money, my coworker Ryan had said, staring at my screen. I know, I'd muttered, feeling a familiar knot of anxiety. You sure you want to put it all toward the cruise? It's for the kids, I'd said automatically, but something nagged at me. And your stepmother? You trust her with this? Ryan had raised an eyebrow, perceptive as always. I hesitated. No. I didn't trust her. Not even a little. Then protect yourself, he'd shrugged. Get something in writing. A contract. Make it official. I'd stared at him. A contract? Yeah, he'd continued, a simple one. Just something that says they agree to certain conditions, since you're paying for it all. If they break the agreement, they owe you. A slow, wicked grin had spread across my face. Ryan, I'd said, you're a genius. Present day. I clicked forward on that email and sent it directly to Emily. It took precisely 30 seconds for my phone to ring again. Incoming call, Emily, this time, I answered. What the hell is this? She screeched, before I could even say hello. I smiled, leaning back into my couch, a delicious sense of vindication washing over me. That, dear sister, is a legally binding agreement. You can't be serious. You're actually making Mom pay you back? She agreed to my terms when she let me cover the entire trip, I said, simply stating facts. She accepted my money. She signed a contract. And now she's in breach of that contract. So yes, she owes me. Silence. Then, in a lower, angrier tone, Emily whispered, Mom is going to lose her mind. She should have thought of that before screwing me over, I retorted, unapologetically. Emily took a slow, deliberate breath, trying to keep her voice steady. Okay, let's just be reasonable. Maybe we can work something out. Oh, now you want to negotiate? I asked, amused. Look, we can figure this out without lawyers, right? She said quickly, desperately. Maybe Mom can pay you back in installments, or maybe you can just... No. What do you mean, no? I mean, no, Emily. My voice hardened, cold and unyielding. Mom always gets away with this crap. She manipulates. She twists things. She does whatever she wants, and you and Dad just let her. Well, I'm not playing anymore. She owes me money, and she's going to pay it. Emily was silent. For the first time in her entire life, she didn't have a comeback. You're serious, she finally muttered, her voice barely audible. Dead serious. You'd actually sue her over this? If she pushes me? Yes. Another long silence. This is going to destroy the family, Emily said quietly, almost a plea. No, Emily, I said, calmly, coldly, finally free. This family was already broken. I'm just done pretending it wasn't. And then, I hung up. That night, I opened a bottle of wine, curled up on my couch, and waited. Waited for the fallout. For the meltdown. For the moment my stepmother realized she wasn't in control anymore. And sure enough, at exactly 9:02 p.m., my phone exploded with calls, Dad. Emily. Stepmother. I didn't pick up. Because this time, I was truly, irrevocably done. This wasn't just about the money, or the cruise. This was about finally reclaiming my life. About proving to myself, and to my children, that we deserved better. It was about setting myself free. And I wouldn't change a single thing.